محمد
يا رسول الله يا حبيب الله يا رسول الله يا حبيب الله يا نبي الله محمد.
Now I want to look at the classification of hadith. There are essentially two classifications of hadith. The first one is classification of hadith on the basis of authenticity, and the second one is classification of hadith on the basis of chain of transmission. So let us look at the first, which is classification of hadith on the basis of authenticity. So on the basis of authenticity, hadith can be classified into three. The first one is hadith sahih, which is sound narration. The second one is hadith hasan, which is fair narration. And the third one is hadith da'if, which is weak narration. So we are looking at these three now. We are starting with hadith sahih, which is sound narration. This is a hadith that is absolutely faultless and has no blemish or any form of weakness in it. The isnad must not contain any weakness or fault, and the matnu must be free from forgery or contradiction. Example of this hadith is the hadith of the Holy Prophet Muhammad when he said, "Man yuridillahu bihi khayran yufaqihu fid din." Whoever Allah wishes something good for, Allah will make him understand the religion. So this hadith is muttafaqun alayh, that is agreed upon by Bukhari and Muslim. The second class of hadith is hadith hasan, that is fair narration, and this is a hadith that is not absolutely faultless because it has some elements of weakness or blemish in it, but it can be corroborated by another hadith that is sound or considered authentic. So that is the case of Hasan hadith. It is not absolutely faultless, which means it has some faults, and it has another hadith that is authentic that is corroborating it. That is why it is called Hasan and different from weak hadith. So in this hadith, sometimes the isnad is not quite complete, and sometimes there is no perfect agreement regarding the reliability of the transmitters for it. However, the matnu can be supported by other sound or authentic hadith. For example, the hadith of the Holy Prophet Muhammad when he said, "Ud'u Allah wa antum muqinuna bil ijaba." Call upon Allah by making dua, and you should be certain that Allah is going to accept your dua, Allah is going to accept your supplication. Another hadith that falls under the Hasan category is a hadith that says, "Laysa shay'un akrama ala Allahi min ad-du'a." Laysa shay'un akrama ala Allahi min ad-du'a. Both this hadith is also reported by Tirmizi, just like the first one. So the hadith says that laysa shay'un, there is nothing that is laysa shay'in akrama ala Allah. There is nothing that is more honored in the sight of Allah min ad-du'a than supplication. So this is an example of hadith that is Hasan. So that is fair narration. So the third one is hadith da'if, weak hadith. Weak hadith is a type of hadith or a class of hadith that is absolutely faulty because it has an element of weakness or blemish and cannot be corroborated by another hadith that is authentic and sound. So there is serious doubts that have been raised against this class of hadith, either because the contents are weak or because one or more of its transmitters is or are not reliable. So there may be among the transmitters somebody that is not reliable, or somebody that is not known, or somebody that his name is not clear. So such hadith is classified as weak hadith. So sometimes the names of the transmitters may be omitted or mixed up with another, as I just said. So example of this hadith is the hadith that says that ad-du'a'u muqul ibadah, that is supplication. Dua is the marrow of worship. So this hadith is classified as weak hadith. Another popular hadith is talabul ilmi faridatun ala kulli Muslim. Seeking knowledge is necessary for every Muslim. So this hadith has also been classified as a weak hadith. However, it is important to note that weak hadith cannot be used in legislative matters. It cannot be used in legislative matters or as evidence to declare something as haram or halal. So it cannot be used to declare the permissibility of anything or to declare something as forbidden, as I just said. However, it can be used in matters dealing with exhortations, stories, and promoting good deeds. So just to promote certain good deeds. So some scholars consider the use of weak hadith in these areas as permissible, but it is generally agreed upon that weak hadith cannot be used for legislative matters, no matter the argument, no matter the condition. So we cannot use weak hadith for legislative matters, and also we cannot use weak hadith to declare something as halal or as haram. It cannot be used as evidence for permissibility of an action. So this is classification of hadith on the basis of the authenticity. The second class of hadith that we are going to look at is the classification of hadith on the basis of the chain of transmission. So in this case, the hadith can essentially be classified into two based on the number of transmitters, or based on the chain of transmission of the hadith. The first one is what is known as the ahad hadith, hadith or ahad, that is solitary or single chain hadith. And the second one is known as hadith mutawatir, that is the multiple chain hadith. So what is hadith ahad and what is hadith mutawatir? So we are going to quickly look at that now. Ahad hadith, that is known as single chain hadith, it exists in three forms. The first one is what is known as Garib, the second one is what is known as Aziz, and the third one is what is known as Mashhur. So let us look at the first one, that is Garib. So it is called Ahad Hadith, that is single chain hadith, because the number of transmitters that we have there is very few. So sometimes it may have just one transmitter, and sometimes it may have two, and sometimes it may have three, but not like the multiple chain hadiths where we have so many transmitters that cannot be doubted or that cannot be easily faulted. So the first one under Hadith Ahad is what is known as Hadith Garib, that is strange hadith. It is Garib, it is called strange hadith because it has just one transmitter. It has been transmitted by just one transmitter. An example of this is the hadith that says, innamal a'malu bin niyyat, all actions are judged according to intention. So this hadith has been transmitted by Umar bin al-Khattab alone. The second type is the Hadith Aziz, that is the rare hadith. It is called rare hadith because it has been transmitted by just two transmitters. For example, the hadith that says, La yu'minu ahadukum hatta akuna ahabba ilayhi min waladihi wa walidihi wa nasi ajma'in. None of you is yet a believer until he loves me more than his son, and more than his father, and more than the generality of mankind. So this hadith is classified as Aziz because it has been narrated by just two, it has been transmitted by just two transmitters. The third one under Ahad Hadith is what is known as Hadith Mashhur, famous Hadith. So this type of Hadith has been transmitted by just three or more transmitters. So it is called Mashhur Hadith. It has been transmitted by three or more, but not a number that can in any way be comparable to that of multiple chain hadith. For example, the hadith that says al-Muslim man salim al-Muslimun min lisanihi wa yadihi. A Muslim is someone from whom other Muslims are safe from the mischief of his tongue and from the mischief of his hand. So this hadith is classified as mashhur hadith, that is famous hadith. So it is not mutawatir, and there is something about ahad hadith. Most of the ahad hadith are generally weak because it is easy to fault the number of transmitters, unlike the other classification, which is the hadith mutawatir, multiple chain hadith that it cannot be easily faulted. So most of the mutawatir hadiths are authentic hadiths. So let us quickly look at this mutawatir hadith. It is a class of hadith that has been transmitted by several transmitters and cannot be easily faulted. So most of the hadiths under mutawatir hadith are authentic and sound. For example, the hadith that says, "Man kazzaba alayya muta'ammidan faliyatabawa maq'adahu minan nar." Whoever intentionally invents a lie against me, Muhammad, should find his seat in hellfire. So this hadith has been transmitted by more than 60 companions, and that is why it falls under mutawatir hadith. So it is authentic hadith. It is also a sound hadith. So virtually most of the mutawatir hadiths are hadiths that are authentic and sound, unlike the ahad hadiths that are mostly weak hadiths because of the strength. The strength is weak. The number of transmitters is not much. So this is what you have to say concerning the classification of hadith. As we said, there are two types of classification. The classification of hadith on the basis of authenticity, we have explained that, and the classification of hadith on the basis of the chain of transmission. So we have also explained that. So the next thing we want to look at is importance of hadith. So how is the hadith important in Islam, and how is hadith important to the Muslims? So inshallah, we are going to look at this.
Ya Habib Allah, Ya Nabi Allah Muhammad.